A very happy morning to all of you students. Students, we are doing the chapter Structure of Atom. And in our previous video, we have discussed the attempts which were made by the scientists like Thomson and Rutherford to explain the positioning of electrons and protons in the nucleus. Okay? Now, after the discovery of Rutherford, the one more subatomic particle, that is neutron, that was also discovered. Neutron is a neutral subatomic particle which was discovered by Chadwick in 1932. Okay, now this was one discovery which I have told you, which occurs after the experimentation of Rutherford. Okay, now what was the drawback of Rutherford? Now, Rutherford tried to explain the model of an atom, but he was also not able to explain the stability of an atom, because one more scientist, Bohr, he posed an opposition against the Rutherford model. What he asked him is that if he said that, okay brother, you are right, atom is spherical, whole positive charge is concentrated inside the atom in the form of nucleus, and electrons are present in the space around the nucleus. But he said that, brother, how is it possible? You said, that is, Bohr asked Rutherford, that you said that electrons are continuously revolving in the space around the nucleus. But as I am a physicist, and according to me, if any particle, because electron was known as a subatomic particle, so it has a particle nature, so every particle, when it moves, it always radiates its energy. Electron will be associated with some kind of energy, and when it starts moving, then some of its energy will be lost. And if it is continuously moving, then there will be a point when whole of its energy will get finished, and at that point we will call that electron is at rest. And if something at rest is moving in a circular motion, it will fall in the center. So electron must fall in the center where the nucleus was there. But there was no evidence of finding an electron in the nucleus. Okay students, in this way Bohr rejected the model of Rutherford and he gave his own model with his postulates. Okay, now what he said about an atom. According to him, this is the structure of an atom. Okay, he also told that the atom is spherical in shape and whole mass is concentrated in a very small space inside the atom, which he named as nucleus, same as that of Rutherford. Okay, but he said that in the space around the nucleus in an atom, there are some discrete energy levels which he named as orbits. He said that these energy orbits are fixed. They have a fixed energy, and electrons are present in these fixed energy states. Okay, he explained it by taking an example, like if we are moving in a bus, then we didn't get tired. Okay, like we cover about a distance of 100, 200, 300 kilometers, but then also our energy is not lost. Why? Because we are just sitting in the bus. Bus is moving, not we are using our energy. He just relates ourselves with the electrons and bus as energy states. He said that there are some definite energy levels which are present around the nucleus, and electrons are present in these definite energy levels, which he named as shells. According to him, the energy of each energy level is fixed, and that's why he called it as stationary states. So Bohr's orbits were also known as stationary states because they have constant energy. Okay, he said that if an electron is present in the K shell, then it will be having energy, which is the energy of the K shell. If it is present in L shell, then it will be having the energy, which is the energy of L shell. If we want any electron from K shell to be placed in L shell, then we have to give it this extra amount of energy, because of which its energy becomes equals to the L shell. Okay, so this was the Bohr's model of atom, which we are studying now only. Okay, so the very first shell after the around the nucleus is K shell, after that L shell, after that M shell, after that N shell. Okay, and then he choose a number N, which describes the shell number, and if its value is 1, it means K shell is there. If its value is 2, it means L shell is there. If its value is 3, it means M shell is there, and so on. Okay, so this was Bohr's model of an atom. Okay, now the next topic is distribution of electrons in different energy shells. Okay, because according to Bohr, this nucleus contains all the protons and neutrons, and electrons are present in the shells. Now, how electrons are present, how electrons are distributed in these shells? That can be done by using the formula, that is 2n square. Like I have drawn a table over here. This is like orbit number is 1, then orbit designation is K, and the maximum number of electrons accommodated will be calculated by the formula 2n square, that is 2 into 1 square, so it will be 2. This is known as Bohr-Bury's rule. Okay, which rule is this? Bohr-Bury's rule. Similarly, if we have L shell, then will be equals to 2 for this, so it will be 2 into 2 square, that is 8. Okay, and similarly for other shells. Now this is the maximum number of electrons which a shell can accommodate. But the study and later discoveries, they explained that the outermost shell of an atom cannot accommodate more than 8 electrons, even if it has a capacity to accommodate more electrons. For example, M can have 18 electrons, but it can accommodate only 8. Similarly, K can accommodate only 2 electrons. Fine. So for this we have the magic numbers 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32. Okay. First shell 2, second shell 8, third shell 8, fourth shell 18, fifth shell 18, and 6, 32, 7, 32. Okay. So these are the number of electrons which are accommodated, which can be accommodated by the different shells. Okay students, so this is our next video. So further chapter we will do in our next video. Fine students, I hope that you have understood the chapter. Thank you. Have a nice day.